Hey everybody, it's Rob at Mr. Robot Shop. Today I wanted to go over a couple robots that we have in our shop, thus the name Mr. Robot Shop. Just got this one yesterday. Found it on eBay. They generally range anywhere from about $25 to about $120. What it is, it's a robot banker. It's called the Robotic Banker from Radio Shack. And what you do is you actually put your coin right here. There's a little switch that activates a mechanism. I did have to pull it apart because it was non-functional, and I really didn't really do anything. All the wires looked intact, but there's no circuit board inside. It's just a mechanical device that goes through steps. So there's gears and motors inside like that. So. But anyways, I'll put a quarter in here. I believe you can use pretty much any type of coin that completes the little circuit in here. So it'll put the coin in the coin slot behind here and drop it. Okay, and then you ask a question and it'll pull a little lever for you. And what you're seeing there is actually a wheel inside a blue spindle. So whatever your question was, it's never going to happen or you're never going to get it. So anyways, it did come with the box. The box is in fairly decent shape considering. There was no styrofoam, no manual. Looked like the previous person I picked it up off from eBay paid $3.99 for it, so it was probably at some kind of a outlet store, thrift shop, but they're a little bit on the rare side. I don't see these pop up too much. There's a little door down here that's missing. That's where your coins would go or would be held, and then it does take one C-size battery, and that actually goes back here. So that's kind of a cool robot. And then of course I've done a video before on Robie the Robot. He's a little bank as well. You put your money in his hand, you push down, oops. Oh. We'll try it again after he's done eating. Sticks his tongue out and says, yum yum. There's actually a little hole in his mouth, and then there's a recovery slot on the bottom where you can get your coins. Now, most of the Robies that you find are missing the covers for the money. That little guy right there. So if you're gonna purchase one, I would recommend getting the cover. It's just nice that way you don't have coins laying all over the ground. And the other issue with Robie, if there's too many coins underneath him, he won't be able to walk back and forth or roll back and forth. And what he does for that rolling action, there's actually little things that kind of go in and out, and that's how you get that rocking motion like that. So also I would recommend, if there's coins in Robie, do not tip him upside down. I've got several of these, and there are coins inside, and I cannot figure out how to take them apart, and I don't want to risk breaking it, but there's really no screws that I could tell outside of the feet, but that, I don't know. Anyways, it would be difficult to take him apart, so just make sure when you pull your coins out, just pull it from the bottom, let them drop out, and then go from there. So another robot I wanted to show you is a Tiger 2XL. Now, actually, let me start with this one over here. This is another 2XL. This is actually my original robot, and I think it was made by Mego. So I'm guessing, yes, 1978, I believe. Man, this camera, I really got to get a good one. I know I keep saying that in every video, but 1978 Mego Corp. Made in Taiwan. So what this guy did, he's actually an 8-track player, 8-track cassette player. So you would in the 9 volts power supply, I believe it was, would plug in here. He did not run on batteries. You'd actually slide the 8-track tapes into here, and they were usually games and educational type things. There's the switch for your power and the volume. This would be a power light for the 8-track tape player. And when he was speaking, his eyes would sync or blink in synchronization with each other in a red color. The neat thing, you could actually play a standard 8-track music tape if you wanted to as well. So back in the 70s, 8-tracks were still kind of a popular thing, so you could buy an 8-track cassette with music on it and just play it through your little toy here. But anyways, on the tape, he would ask you questions and you would respond accordingly. Now what these buttons do on an 8-track tape, there's actually 4 tracks on a tape. So based on the question that he would ask, you would reply with one of these buttons here, and pushing the button would switch the track. So if you got the question wrong, the track would literally have a different recording with him saying, well, you got that question wrong, or if you push the right one, you got it right, or if you were uncertain, or if you didn't press anything, he would actually say, well, what's going on, dude, you know. So the thing that amazed me back then, and even to this day, for them to have 4 different tracks with different audio that synchronized with each other was pretty amazing, because obviously at the end of the question, based on your responses on the little on the push buttons here, at the end of the question and his response and going on to the next question, every single track had to synchronize with each other. So when it went on to the next question, which would remain on that track that you left it on, it would be able to pick up the next question, and this would be the next question, that would be the next question, that would be the next question. So for them to synchronize an 8-track tape with 4 tracks like they did, it was actually some work was put in on that. So, but that was really my first robot. I never owned this 2XL, and again, this is a Tiger brand, so I'm guessing at some point, I can't imagine they would have been able to just take the name, so they probably, you know, either bought out Mego or bought the rights to it. Now this guy is actually a cassette player, like just an audio cassette. I don't have any tapes, I've not used it, he's just more of a display kind of thing. You do have a rewind, stop and play button up here, but you do have questions down here, similar to the first one I just showed you. Now I don't really know how this would work, because with regular audio cassettes, there were no tracks. So I don't know how the questions were structured in a way that, you know, you could actually, I'm sure it happened, but, you know, like I said, you'd probably look on a YouTube video to see a working model. But I kind of like this guy. He's kind of, looks like he's got a little bit of an attitude, kind of futuristic looking. And I believe this back here is a little storage device for your cassettes. He did not move around, and then I think underneath here is your battery compartment. It looks like it takes probably 4 D-size batteries. This one's really clean. I'm trying to find the date here for you. We have LED lights in the shop here, so it's kind of a 1992. Yeah, 4 Ds made in China. So we're already starting to see things, you know, coming out of China back in the 90s here. So anyways, I think that's about it for the robots that I do have. I ordered several different robots off eBay lately for our Waynesville store, because a lot of people have been coming in asking if we sell robots and why do you call yourself Mr. Robot Shop. Well, there's different reasons. I love robots, I think they're cool. I remember that's one reason, and then I remember quite a few years ago there was one little girl that came in and she called me she found out my name was Rob, and she called me Mr. Robot for some reason. So that was another reason for the Mr. Robot Shop name. And then the third, this isn't the primary reason, but a lot of people think it is. The show Mr. Robot that came out, I think, a couple years ago. I remember a scene where I can't remember the kid's name, but he went into his dad's store. He had a computer store, and he had vintage computers. But at the time that it was filmed, if you will, it was like the 1990s. And Elliot, right, was the kid's name. And so, anyways, but when I looked at that store, it looked so much like mine because the computers, we have the vintage museum upstairs, and he had a Super Nintendo, I believe, in the shot. It was kind of a pan over shot, and they were talking about like 286 and 386 upgrades. And I remember Christian Slater, he was actually pulling back in the day, America Online used to be one of the big internet online providers, or even online providers before the internet was really popular, along with like Prodigy and CompuServe. But anyways, back in the day, and I remember doing this, you would get free AOL floppy disk to install the software onto your computer. And once you installed it, you really didn't need it again, or you also got tons of them. I mean, they were like in books and magazines and laying out, the grocery stores and libraries. So a lot of times you'd pick them up, and he was doing what I would do is you'd basically peel off the labels and reuse the disc. You'd reformat them and reuse the disc. I don't remember actually peeling the label off. I usually just stuck another sticker over on top. But floppy disk, back in the day, for a pack of a decent quality pack of like 10 usually ran you like $20, $30. So, if you could get them free, that was a pretty good deal. So anyways, I thought that was kind of a neat thing. If you guys picked up on that during that episode. And they also, he was talking about upgrading. He got a phone call, and the person obviously asked him, what do you think about me going out and buying a new computer or upgrading my current one? And he was talking about how you could upgrade your current one and save yourself, hundreds of dollars. And that's what I do today. I've been doing that for 18 years. So I don't know. The show speaks to me at a lot of different levels. But anyways, there's multiple parts of the Mr. Robot shop. And again, I'm not. I didn't really copy the name 100%. It did have maybe 25% of me coming up with the new name compared to the At-Home Computer Services and the Retro Gamer. But most of it is, I do like electronics. I like toys. I think robots are cool. My first encounter with I guess you'd call it a real robot. I think it was just probably, I don't know. It was actually at this is back in Indianapolis back in the 70s. I think during the Christmas season, either at Ellis Ayres or the Hudson Building. There was a robot there, and I don't know if it was some guy dressed up in a robot costume, but it looked like a robot, right? I mean, it's almost like it had wheels and stuff. Maybe it was radio controlled, but it was like as large as an adult, and it would talk to you. Obviously, there was probably some person on the other end with a mic and a speaker. But I was always fascinated by that, and to this day, I mean, I remember, I don't have any pictures of it, but I just remember the impression that made on me. And obviously in the world we live in, with drones and how robotics have changed the world and taken over jobs from people, robots are definitely something that, we have to be aware of and consider and talk about and think about, because I just was reading the other day, I know I'm kind of rambling on here, but I was just reading the other day how Wendy's and now McDonald's, because again they're tired of paying the people money, for the higher minimum wage, they're going to a kiosk system where you're going to order your food yourself, right? And I'm sorry, that's not going to happen with me. If I walk into, I don't generally frequent fast food restaurants often, maybe once a month, if that. But if I go into one and they're going to make me order my own food through a kiosk and I don't have somebody waiting on me, I'm walking right back out the door. So, you know, for them to throw our jobs away like that, I mean, I realize that, you know, those aren't the best jobs on earth, but they are jobs for people, and people need jobs to keep their families, you know, afloat. And I think you guys really need to consider, you know, robots as toys are cool and neat, but, you know, we have to be aware of what robotics are doing to our jobs, and, you know, just kind of think about that. So, anyways, appreciate you watching the video. If you guys enjoyed it, do a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and have a good day. Take care.